Okay, so this function programming is what we're doing today. First question is write a program to add two numbers using a function called add. Okay, so first we'll do this program the normal way without using functions. Okay, so that's the program that we have done before, very simple one. First, okay, importing the java dot util dot scan.
Scanner, semicolon.
Then what? Creating this
Scanner
object
class.
scanner is equal to new scanner system.in. So this is creating the object for the scanner class. We do all the declarations. So we need A, B, and C probably. Okay. Three variables, two to take A and B from the user. And we'll tell the
And
user.
add the sum. Yeah, kami babalik ko ano.
Taking A from the user, same way taking B from the user. And then adding them both, storing that in C. So C is equal to A plus B.
B same.
And then we'll print.
Ara.
Ahmed, if you're not talking here, please don't unmute your mic. Keep it mute.
So.
Okay. Yeah, this is the program, right? Yeah, all of you saw the program. So what are we doing here in this program is everything in the program is happening within this void main. Okay, void main. The main is your function, and within the main function, you're doing everything. That is, you're doing declarations, you're taking input from the user, you're doing the processing, and you're doing the output. The three main parts of a program: input, processing, output. Everything is happening in the main function. Yes, correct, everyone? Now, in a function program, you have another function which does the addition part. See, here right now we have only one function. What's the name of the function in this program? What's the name of the function here? Main. Main is the name of the function. You understand?
Yes.
But in function programs, you'll have another function other than the main function, which does some processing part. Okay. So here, what is the processing that this function is going to do? It's going to do the addition part. Our program has three parts: input, processing, and output. Right? Input, processing, and output. So the input will be done by your main. Even the output also will do it by the main function. Okay, but the processing part we will do it in the add function. Okay, main function. All functions will have this bracket at the end of it. Right. That's why we put a bracket here also. Add with a bracket. Okay, these brackets are called parentheses in Java. So main has these parentheses. Add also should have a parenthesis. Both of them are functions. Okay. Now, how does this work? So the main function will do the input part, that is take the two numbers from the user. Then the main function will send those two numbers to the add function. Okay. So then add function will receive these two numbers, it will add the two numbers, and then it will send the answer back to the main function. And then the main function will print the answer. Do you understand the function, how it works? I'll give you an example. Okay, now suppose Nathan is the main function. Okay, so what Nathan's work is, Nathan will take the input. Okay, now suppose this is not a function program, say it's a normal program. Then Nathan, what he has to do, he will take input from the user, he will find the sum of it, he will add it, and he will also print the answer back to the user. Right, that is what would happen if there was only the main function. Now suppose there are two functions, that is the main function and the add function. Say Ryan is the add function. Okay, so now what Nathan will do, Nathan is the main function and Ryan is the add function. Okay, so what is Nathan's work now? Nathan will take the input from the user. Now Nathan will not add it. Nathan will give the numbers to Ryan and tell Ryan, add these numbers and give me the answer. So Ryan will add the two numbers and he will do the calculation and he'll give the answer back to Nathan. And then Nathan will give the output. He will print it back to the user. You understand? So it's like you're dividing the job. Instead of Nathan doing the whole job, instead of him doing the input, processing, and the output, he's only doing the input and the output. The processing is done by Ryan. Is that clear? That reduces the load on the main function on Nathan. Okay. Now, why this is useful is imagine there are 4 different calculations you're doing in Java. Not only addition. So you're doing addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. Okay. And there's 2 ways to do it. One way is how Nathan only can do all 4, right? He can take the 2 numbers, he can do the addition, the subtraction, the multiplication, division, and give the answer to the user. But if he's using functions, then he'll have 4 different people to do all the 4 different functions, right? Say Anna will do addition, Ryan might do the subtraction, Gloria might do the multiplication, Sneha might do the division. So Nathan will just send the numbers. Okay, here Anna, add them. Ryan, multiply them. Gloria, subtract them. You understand? So he gives the numbers to them, they do the calculation, and then they send the answer back to Nathan, and Nathan will give it to the user. This is how functions work. Is everyone clear on the idea of how functions work? Okay. So now we're going
Yes,
to
sir.
how to apply that in the program. Okay. So till here it is same. Correct? The main function is taking the 2 numbers, storing it in A and B. Okay. Now here, no calculation. A does not do the, the main function doesn't do the calculation. Who does the calculation? The add function. Okay. So here now, after closing this bracket, see, this is the main function. After closing this main, let me draw it here and show you how it looks. So you'll have your class. Okay. Then inside class, you have your main function. Okay. And then you open the main function. You will close the main function. After you close the main function, you will open the add function. Okay. Then you open the add function, close the add function. Then you close the class. This is the structure of your program. So that normally we didn't have this add part, right? We only had the main and then we close the class. But here you're having the main and you're having the add. Okay. So now in the main, you have the input and the output. In the add, you will have the processing. Okay. Got an idea again? Now back to our actual program. So here after closing the void main bracket, we will open the add function. Okay. So I'll write void add. Just like how we write void main, I'm writing void add. Okay. Now inside this add function, I'll be doing the calculation for the addition part. Now, how does the main function send these 2 numbers, A and B, to the add function? Okay, this is the important part. Listen very carefully. How does it send? Now, if it was Nathan sending, what he'll do, he'll call, okay, now suppose he has to send it to Ryan. Nathan will say, okay, Ryan, take the 2 numbers, A and B. So what is he doing? He's calling the function and he's sending the 2 variables. Correct? He's calling the function. How does he call the function? He calls Ryan. And then he gives the 2 numbers, take A, take B. Right? In the same way here, the main function, how do you call the add function? Very simple. You just have to write add with the bracket like this. You see, that is calling the function. Is that clear, everyone? Don't have to put void or anything. You're just writing the name of the function with a bracket. Okay. All right. Now, along with calling the function, he also has to send the 2 numbers. Right. So to send the 2 numbers within the parentheses, he has to just put the 2 numbers. So A, comma B. Okay. This is calling the function and sending the 2 variables to the add function. Is everyone clear with this? Now, what does add have to do is add has to catch it. He has to take it, right? Say Nathan is sending the 2 numbers. Here, Ryan, take A, he'll throw it. Take B, he'll throw it. Now, what does Ryan have to do? Ryan has to catch it, right? So here the add function has to catch the values of A and B. So for that, within these brackets, you have to put the data type and the variable. Now A and B are both integers. So he has to put int, and now he'll use a different variable. Okay, because A and B is already used. He can use the same variable or he can use another variable. So let us use X and Y. So he has to put int X, comma, int Y. Okay, so now whatever Ryan is throwing, sorry, whatever Nathan is throwing, A and B will be caught by Ryan in as X and Y. Okay, so A's value gets copied into X and B's value gets copied into Y.
Excuse me, Anna.
Hmm?
Is it necessary to write int twice, like for
Yes,
X also?
yes. Inside these parentheses, you have to write each data type separately. You can't write like how we're initializing variables over here. We can't do it like that. Okay, like how we're declaring. You have to put two types. Okay. Now the thing is, A, B, and C are local variables. Local variables means they can only be used within that function that they are declared in. See, the A, B, and C are declared in the main function. So A, B, and C is local. Local means it only can be used within the main function. Okay. So that is why in the add function, we are creating different variables, X and Y. Is that clear? Now, what does the add function do with X and Y? It has to add it and store it in another variable, say Z. So I'll create a variable int Z. Okay, directly in one line itself, I can add int Z is equal to X plus Y. Okay, so X and Y is added and stored in Z. Okay. Now all these are local variables. For the add function, X, Y, and Z are local variables. Okay. Now what does add function have to do? It got the answer. Ryan got the answer. Now what does Ryan have to do with the answer?
Give it back.
He has to give it back to Nathan. Okay, he has to send it back. So how does this add function send that Z back? Very simple. You just have to write return Z. Return means it's returning Z back. Where is it sending it back? To whoever sent it. Okay, so it will go straight back to this point. Okay, it will go back here where it was called. So now what does Nathan have to do? He has to get it back, right? Ryan sent the answer back. Nathan has to catch it and store it somewhere. So look how we store it. So before this add, we put a variable C is equal to. Okay. So whatever the answer for this add A comma B, that comes back over here. And then we put C is equal to so that it gets stored in C. Is everyone clear how this works? Okay. So it's a long line. C is equal to add A comma B. Many things are happening here. First, you're calling the add function and you're sending A and B. A and B goes to X and Y. X and Y gets added, gets stored in Z. And then the add function sends the Z back. And the Z goes to the same place over here. Like in place of this add A comma B, there is the answer. So that answer gets stored in C. Any doubt, anyone? Okay. One more thing. Now, what is the
So
data?
now we print C.
Yeah, and then after that main function, what does it do? It prints C. Okay, because the answer is now stored in C. You notice how the main function did not do the addition part. The addition part was done by the add function. Okay. All right. One last thing. Now, what is the data type of this Z? The value that is being returned, Z. What is its data type? It's int, right?
Int.
So you instead of writing void add, you have to write int add. Okay. Whatever is being returned, that's the data type that should be returned here instead of void. See, void means what? Void means that function is not returning anything. That is why we generally write void here, void main. So what does it mean? It means the main function is not returning anything. Main function is not sending anything anywhere. That's why void. Okay. But this add function is returning the value Z, and Z is of integer data type. So you have to put int add. Okay. Is everyone clear of this program? The program is done. Any doubts? I hope all of you
No,
understood.
sir.
This is how function program works. Okay. Now you'll have more functions, but this is generally how it works. Main function sends the values to the other function. The other function does whatever calculation and sends it back to the main function. Okay. All right. So let's run this program now. Okay, error. I have to put I can't put the static here, I think. Yeah, this error
And I think you'll have to put void main.
where? No,
A public
Just
static
try
void
putting
main.
void main.
void main doesn't work with this. No, void main doesn't work here. Like if you have your BlueJ compiler, this will work. Okay, but on this I have to do something else. I think here I'll have to put static. Let's see. No. Sorry, not here. Static in. Let's check. Okay. All right, let's see if it works. So 2, 3. The sum is 5. Okay, it worked. Okay, so I just had to put a static here. You don't need this, it's not compulsory, but just for this compiler, I have to put static over here. If you're using BlueJ compiler, you don't have to write public static. Okay, directly you can just write int add. All right. Okay. So the 40th question, this is your program. Write it down. Okay, the 41st question is write a program to take the length and breadth of a rectangle. Also take the side of a square. Okay, so you have two shapes now. You have a rectangle and you have a square. So you're taking all the values of a rectangle from the user, that is length and breadth, and you're also taking the side of a square from the user. Yeah. For the rectangle, you're taking length and breadth, and for the square, you're taking the side. Now you have to find both. You have to find area of the rectangle and you have to find the area of the square. Okay. So you have your main function which will do the input and the output. Correct? All the inputs and all the outputs is done by your main function. Your main function also should call both the other functions. So you have two other functions. One is area of a rectangle. We'll say area R.
One is square.
And the
Now,
other
will
will
this
call,
be like a menu driven program?
will this be like a what?
Like a menu driven program.
Yeah, something like that. Okay. But both the options are called. In a menu driven, you're only calling either option 1 or 2. Right. But here
Yeah.
you have to call both. Okay. So your main function will call both of them. It will call area R and it will also call area S. Okay. So same way, you will send length and breadth for the rectangle, and for the area S, you will send the square, the side of the square. Okay. Send it, it has to return it back, catch it, and then the output should be printed by the main function. Same like your previous program, only thing you have two other functions now. Okay, so apply all the logics that we used in the previous program and do this program. Okay, start everyone, and within 2 or 3 minutes you can rejoin. I'm closing this meeting. You can rejoin the meeting. Okay. So for this program, once again, we're taking all the inputs from the user, that is the length and the breadth, we're taking it and storing it in L and B. We're taking the side of the square and storing that in S. Okay, so these are our three variables, L, B, and S, length, breadth, and side. We also need two more variables to store the area. So we'll call that AR and AS. Okay, AR is area of rectangle, AS is area of square. Now here we have our two functions, area R and area S. So we're first calling area R to find the area of the rectangle. When we're calling area R, we need to send the length and the breadth. Right. So then in this bracket, we'll write L, B. That means we are sending the length and breadth to the area R to find the area. Now inside this, we need variables to catch that value. So say int L or int X and int Y. So what do these two variables do, int X and int Y? They take the length and the breadth. Okay. Now we need to find the area. So int use another variable. We can use the same variables also, understand? But the computer will consider them as two different variables. Okay, because see, this AR was a local variable for the main function. This AR is a local variable for that particular function. Understand? You can use the same variables, but the computer considers it as two different variables. Okay, so even for length and breadth, if you want, we can put L and B over here. Okay, so the length and breadth sent by the main function will get stored in this L and B. Even though we're using same L and B, it's two different L and B's. Okay, all right. So then here int AR in area we're finding the area. So int AR is equal to length into breadth. We find the area and then we return AR. Okay, so area will get returned. Here we have to put int because AR is an integer data type. So we're sending it back. It goes right here, and then that is stored in another variable, which is AR. Okay, so this AR will store the area of the rectangle. Is this much clear, everyone? We're calling the function, sending LNB. LNB goes here. We're finding the area, returning the area, and that area goes back and gets stored here in this AR. Is that clear, Anna? Nathan? Same way we'll do for area of square also. So that we're going to store in AS. So AS is equal to area S, and we are sending only one value, which is the side of the square. Right? We only have one value. Now here we need to catch it. So int S will catch that side that we are sending. It will come here. And here we have to use that S to find the area. So we'll use the same variable, that is AS. The formula to find is S into S. Or you can use math.power S comma 2. And then we return AS. So AS goes back over here and gets stored in this AS. And then we print both the values. So area of rectangle is AR. And then area of square is AS. Okay, that's the program. Okay, let's run it. Okay, enter length and breadth of the rectangle. So 2 and 3. 23 became. Okay, 23 and 2 I'll give. Okay. Next, enter the side of the square. Okay. So it's nice to ask it separately like this. Like I think Gloria, you asked all of them together, no? Directly you said enter length and breadth of rectangle and enter side of square. And then you're giving all the three values. So instead of that, you can do it like this. Okay, now enter side of the square, take 5. Okay, so now it gave me the answer, but the answer is not
No,
correct.
no, I didn't ask all three together.
Huh?
I didn't ask all three together. It's different. First,
No,
I asked length and breadth, and then square. First.
yeah, but then you're taking all three inputs together, no? A, B, and C you're taking after both those statements. So it will not come like this.
I didn't
Okay.
understand. Okay.
See how I'm doing it? Look here. First, I'm telling enter length and breadth, and then I'm taking the length and breadth.
Okay.
Then I'm asking enter side of square, then I'm taking the side of the square. You understand? In yours, how it will be, no? Look, I'll move this to how you did it. So this is how you did it, right?
Yes, Aman.
Now see what's going to happen. So directly it's asking both. Enter length and breadth of rectangle, enter side of square. Okay.
So is it wrong?
I mean, now what do I enter first? Tell me. What am I entering now? Length and breadth of rectangle or side of square?
So
It's confusing for the user. That's all. It's not wrong. Okay. So tell me, what should I enter first? Should I enter side of the square or should I enter length and breadth of rectangle?
that
Yeah. Okay, because that's the order you gave. But isn't it better if it first asks length and breadth, then takes those values, then ask the side of the square? Okay. All right. So then let's give the values 2, enter, 3, enter. And now I'm entering side of the square, which is 5. Okay. So we're getting our output. Side of this rectangle is 2 and 3. So 2 into 3 is 6. And side of the square is 5. So we're getting 25. Yeah. Put it back the other way. Okay, in this order is you get a better input and output. Okay, the experience for the user is better. It's not confusing. I'm giving some homework questions similar to this. Sneha, are you here?
Yes, sir.
I don't think you're understanding anything. Okay, there's no response from you. There is no program. Okay, this online tuition doesn't work for you. Yeah, I think you should attend offline. Did you do the program?
Yes, sir, but it is wrong.
How do you know it's wrong? Did I tell you it's wrong? Did you send it to me?
No,
Did you-
sir, you did it.
You didn't send it to me. Did you ask me any doubt? No. See, you have to ask doubts. You have to others. I don't know whether you're understanding or not.
Yes, sir.
Other subjects also, I don't think you're understanding anything because it doesn't look like. And half of the class you're not here. Last 10 minutes you were not here. Where were you?
Sir, network issue.
That's the problem. See, network issue, no response, no message, no nothing. Okay. Write down the questions for homework. All right, our meeting is almost over. So I think the question is explanatory, self-explanatory. If the meeting gets over while I'm talking, please rejoin. Okay. So you're taking radius of a circle and also base and height of a triangle. Okay. Now you have to find 3 things: area of circle, circumference of circle, and area of triangle. Okay. Area of the circle's formula is pi r square. Circumference of circle is 2 pi r. We've learned this formula previously, 9th, I think. And area of a triangle is half into base into height. You just rejoin the meeting. I'll just give you the structure for this program and then we'll end in 5 minutes. Okay, rejoin immediately. Okay, so write down this question, all of you. Okay, this is a question. Write it first. Then I'll explain. I'll just come in a minute. Okay, is everyone done with the question? Turn your cameras on. Did you all understand the question?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So how many different, they have used little different words here. Instead of the word function, they use the word methods. So methods and functions have very similar meaning. Okay. So instead of calling these functions, we call them methods. They are the same thing. Remember that. Second thing, instead of the word global variables, we use the word instance variables. Okay. So global and instance variable is the same. Okay, right over here, global or instance. Okay, is that clear? So instead of global, what's the word used? Instance. And instead of functions, we use methods. Okay. So write a program to define a class called taxi fare. Okay. Taxi, put underscore in between. Okay. Because they're telling you to use this particular name. What is it? So taxi underscore fare is the name of your class. So they're giving you the class name. They're also telling you what global variables to use. So you have kilometer and fare. These are the two global variables that have to be created. And also they're telling you what should be, what you're going to put in those variables. See, function programmings are the easiest out of all the programs because they give everything in the question. You saw that? They're telling you what variable to use, what data type to use. Huh? Then they're also telling you what all methods to create, methods or functions. So you have three functions, the input function, the calculate function, and the display function. Also, you need the main function to call these three functions. Remember, the main function calls the functions, right? So you also need the main
Yes.
function to call these functions. So totally, how many functions will be there?
4.
Four. Input function, calculate
Main
function,
calculate function
display function, and the main function.
and main function.
The main function does only calling the input. Okay, input, do your work. Okay, calculate, do your work. Okay, display, do your work. That's the work of the main function. Just calling the other functions. Input is the main function is not taking input, not printing output also this time. Why? Because you have a separate function for that. Right? You have an input function which takes the kilometer for the journey. That is taking the input. You have a calculate function which does the calculation. It's finding the fare. And you have the third function display which gives the output to print the output. Right? So what is the main function doing then? Just calling the three functions. No input, no processing, no output. Is that clear? All right. Now, generally what we do is we write the main function at the end. Okay. We write the input first, then the calculate, and then the display, and finally we write the main function. You can write in any order, doesn't matter. Okay. So let's first create the input function. Now, before creating any function, what do you have to create?
Class.
Okay, class is there. Okay. Yeah. After class, before we start the functions, what we have to do?
Scanner SC.
What? Okay.
Variables.
Scanner and all will create in the input function. Yeah, we have to create the instance variables. See, remember I told
Yes.
you here, before we create any main function or any of the functions, we have to create those global variables, right? So we have to create the global variables here itself. See, before we create the function, okay?
Int kilometer double fare.
So int kilometer and double fare. See, I'm creating this. After this only, I'll create the functions. So what's the first function? Input.
Input.
Did you understand? Then input bracket opening, closing. Then next is the
Calculate function.
calculate. I'm just giving the structure of the program. Opening bracket, closing bracket. And then display that function's opening bracket, closing
So you
bracket.
can write as void input, void calculate, and void
Yes,
display.
coming to that. Yeah. Now before the word input, you're supposed to write the data type of what is being returned. Before the word input, what you're supposed to write? The data type of what is being returned. See, in the previous program, before the name of the function, we wrote int. Why we wrote int?
Because the return data type was int.
Yeah, we're returning AR and AR is of integer data type. Whatever you're returning, that data type should be written in front of the function name. Now here, we're not returning anything. The input function is just going to take the input from the user. It's not returning, not sending anything. Calculate function also is calculating the fare. It's not sending it back. Display is displaying the output. It's printing the output. So none of these functions are going to return anything. Is that clear, everyone? So what we need to put here in the front? Void. Okay, for all. Void. Okay, you all rejoin the meeting. It's getting over. Join immediately. Okay, so in our program till now, what we have done, we have created the 2 instance or global variables, and we have created the 3 functions. All of them are void because they're not sending uh, anything back. You're not returning anything. Put your cameras on, all of you, quickly. And at the last, you will create the void. What? The void main. Okay, the public static void main is at the last. So this is the structure. Wait, what happened? Here's the display. Oh, yeah. Okay, so totally how many functions? 1, 2, 3, 4.
4
Okay.
functions.
All right. We have created these global variables, which means these 2 variables can be used in all these 4 functions. We don't have to declare them. We don't have to return. We don't have to send, transfer from here to there. We can just use them directly. In the previous program that we did, these variables were not global. That's why we had to return. You see, we're returning it, then it goes there. But because the variables are global in this program, you don't need to return. You can just use them. If you make any change here, it can be used in the next, and that variable, same variables can be used everywhere. Okay. Now, what are we doing in the input function? The question
We
tells you
can
what.
do like that also. After input function, we can write display, and after display function, calculate function.
Yes, we can write them in any order, just that when you're calling them, you call them in the right order. In the main
Yes.
function, call them correctly. So how in the main function, what has to be called first? Which
Input function.
input? So you have to just write like this, input. You're not sending anything, so nothing in the brackets, just input. Then you call the calculate. That's it. And then you call the display. That's all in the main function. This is the main function. We're just calling the 3 functions. Okay. So here the order should be correct. Otherwise, it will call in the wrong order. Okay. So input, then calculate, and then display. When you write it here, it can be written in any order, doesn't matter. Okay. All right. Let's see what the input function does. The input function has to take the kilometers driven for the journey. So,
Sir,
hmm?
sir, if we write first input, then display. So in main function, we have to write first input, then display, then calculate.
Main function always the same order. Outside it can be in any order. Okay.
And in school, our ma'am gave that s dot display, s dot input.
Yeah, that is using object. We'll come to that later on. Okay, that is using an object. So right now we're not using object. We're just without objects. This program is without object. Okay, so void input here we need to create the scanner class, right? To take input, need that. So new scanner system.in. And then what's next? We'll tell the user.
Print enter details for kilometer and fare.
Not fare, only kilometers. Enter the kilometers driven. Okay, and we'll take the kilometers, we'll store that in km. Right, km is already declared here. So km is equal to sc dot nextInt. Right, everyone? Don't write yet. I'll give you time to write. Just understand the program now. If you don't understand it now, you'll not get it again. Okay, in this much detail, I'll only explain the first time. So listen. All right. So what we have done here now, the input function is done. We've created the scanner class. We have used that scanner class to take the input from the user, and we have stored that in km. Is the input clear? Okay. Now in calculate, what are we going to do? We're going to calculate the fare based on these different. This is a slab based on the following slab. Okay, right, slab. Okay, so how do we calculate how many kilometers he has driven? He could have driven 5 kilometers, 23 kilometers, 105 kilometers, right? And for different kilometers driven, you have different costs. Okay, so for that we need what? This is a 9 standard program. So we have tried what?
Kilometer less than.
Yeah, the if statement, right?
Yes,
If is below 10, below 10 means less than or equal to 10.
Less than equal to 10.
Okay, so if kilometer is less than equal to 10, then how much is the cost?
Cost is 8 rupees
8 rupees per kilometer. Cost
per
per.
kilometer.
So suppose he traveled 2 kilometers, what is the cost?
16.
16 rupees. So you have to do 2 into 8, right? So if kilometer
Yes.
less than equal to 10, then the cost of fare is equal to kilometer into 8. Right, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then now else if means if it's not below 10. So if it's above 10, it'll automatically go here, else part. If it's less than 10, it'll go here to the first if statement. If this kilometer is not less than 10, then it goes to the else part. So the else part, we just have to check if it is less than 30. If kilometer is less than equal to 30. We don't have to check greater than 10 because that's understood, right? If it's greater than 10, only it goes over here. Okay.
Fare is equal to 6 into kilometer into
Fare is how much?
kilometer into 6.
Yeah, but this 6 rupees is only for the kilometers above 10 till 30, not for all from 1 onward. So for the first 10 kilometers, you're still charging 8 rupees. So first 10 kilometers, mute your mic, who's it? Nathan? Or okay. See, yeah, for the first 10 kilometers, how much are we charging? 8 rupees.
8 rupees.
Anything after 10, like for example, if you travel 12 kilometers, okay? So for the remaining 2 kilometers, only you're charging 6 rupees.
Yes.
First 10 kilometers, you're charging 8 rupees. The remaining 2. So how do we get that remaining 2? If 12 is the distance traveled, you have to do 12 minus 10. Right?
So Nana, what would be the difference? Because this is like a normal program. How can you write that in a function?
We're already writing in function. See? We write this
Yeah.
whole thing inside the calculate function.
If we wouldn't have written calculate, then like it would still be a normal program.
That will be a normal program. So this normal program, we have already done this in the 9th standard. We're just converting this into a function program. You understand? If it was a normal non-function program, you would have taken the input, done the calculation, and also printed the output within the main function itself. Right now, we're just partitioning it. Okay, input separately, calculate separately, and the display separately. Main function is not doing anything. He is just calling all the 3 functions. Okay, so this part you're supposed to be familiar with it. So I'm just writing the code that is for the first 10 kilometers, 8 rupees. The remaining kilometers, how do you get the remaining is kilometer minus 10. Correct? If you travel 12 kilometers, then 12 minus 10. That is for 2 kilometers. For those 2 kilometers, you're charging 6 rupees. Is this clear, everyone? This statement? This formula?
I didn't go.
Look, suppose you're traveling 5 kilometers. Then you're just doing 5 into 8. Correct? 40. But now suppose you're traveling 12 kilometers. Then you're dividing the 12 into 2 parts, 10 kilometer and 2 kilometer. For the 10 kilometers, you're charging how much? 8 rupees. And for these 2
8 rupees.
kilometers, you're charging 6 rupees.
6 rupees.
So how do you write this code? So you have to do 10 into 8. That's what I wrote here, 10 into 8. Plus 2 into 6. What is this 2? How do you get this 2? You have to do 12 minus 10. The total 12 minus the 10 kilometers. Then you'll get the 2. Right? So that's what I'm doing here. The total 12, which is km, minus 10. Understand? That is your 2 kilometers. For that, you're charging 6 rupees. Is everyone clear now? Now, what if you, next statement is else if kilometer is above 30. So for this, we don't need an if, we just need else. Because if it's not less than 10 or not less than 30, then it is obviously greater than 30, right? So we don't need an if condition here. We can just write L. Now, what will be the formula for the fare over here? So imagine he traveled 36 kilometers. Okay, so here we're dividing this into 3 parts. First 10 kilometers, we're charging how much rupees? 8 rupees.
8 rupees.
Then remain next, how many kilometers are there? 10 till 30. That is how many kilometers? From 10, above 10 till 30 is 20 kilometers. Right? From 10 till 30, that's 20 kilometers. For those 20 kilometers, how much are we charging? 6 rupees. And then the remaining how many kilometers are there now? That we have not charged?
10.
Not 10. Here 10,
6.
here 20 is done. That's 30 is done.
6.
Remaining is 6, no, from 36. So kilometer minus
8.
30. That is that 6 kilometers. How we got that 6 is kilometer minus 30. 36 minus 30. For that 6 kilometers, we are charging how much? 5 rupees. Did you understand how we got our equation now? So write this now as an equation. If fare is equal to, tell me, first 10 into 8 plus 20 into 6 plus remaining how much? 6. How do we get that 6 is? Kilometer minus 30. For that, we are charging 5 rupees. Do you understand the equation? Okay, so that's it. We have calculated the fare. Next function is the display. So what are we doing in the display function? We're printing two things, the distance and the fare. Okay, so two print statements. System.out.print ln total distance traveled, or total distance is equal to, where is the distance stored? Kilometer. So plus km. And then you're also printing the total fare, that is total fare. This is the program. Is everyone clear of this? And I just take a print screen and go, or I'll send this on the group. If you've understood, then you can leave. You have to go for lunch, right?
Okay, Anna.
Yeah, see. All right. Okay, is everyone clear with this program? How it works? Okay, we're going to run this program and we're going to see the output. I hope there are no errors. Okay.
Sir, main function.
Main function I already did, no? Yes. Yeah, so there are some errors. It is static. Okay. I need to remove the static. Okay, if I remove static, I think I have to create an object. No. I have to put static for all, right? Yeah, that's what we did last time. Okay, so now normal errors. Okay, what are the errors here? Oh no, not normal. Again, something to do with static only. Non-static variable kilometer cannot be referenced from a static context. Put static here also. Okay, it's working. Okay, it is because of this online compiler. Okay, I've put static everywhere. You don't have to do that. All right, so let's see. Enter the kilometers driven. Okay, so first example, how much we took? 5 kilometers. Let's put that 5 kilometers. Right. So total distance traveled is 5, and the total fare is 40. Okay. All right, now let's put 12 kilometers. So now you tell me, how much should be the fare for 12 kilometers? 10 into 8, 80. 2 into 6, 16. So that should be 96 rupees. Okay, let's try that. 12. Sorry, 92. 2 into 6 is 12. Okay, and last 36. So what is it actually supposed to be for 36? So 10 8s are 80. 20 into 6 is 120. And 6 into 5 is 30. So 120 plus 30, 150 plus 80, 230. Okay, 230. Okay, let's try that. 36. Total fare is 230. Clear, everyone, how this program is? So now tell me, what is the difference between this program that we did today and the last week's program?
Return and functions are more.
Okay, so in last week's program, the main function did the input and the output. And we only had one function for the processing. Okay, that is one difference. Here we had 3 separate functions. Then the other difference was in the last week's program, we had local variables. And because we had local variables, we had to create different variables for every function. Okay, and we had to return from one function to the other function, you have to return. But in this one, we don't have to return anything because these are global variables. So global variables means if I make a change in one function, see here, if I put the value of fare, that same variable is being used in the next function. Sorry. So one place you make the change for fare, that value can be used even in the next function. So we don't have to return. We just update your formula and the values get updated in all the functions. Is that clear, everyone?
Yes.
All right, so these are the 2 types of function programs that are there. One is where you will return and one where you will not return. Okay, so the second type is better, and this is what is mostly asked, where they'll give you all the instance variables and all the methods. Okay, all right, write on the program, everyone. You don't write static anywhere.
Sir, what if kilometers are 15? 15 kilometers.
What is?
15 kilometers. Can you run and see that? 15 kilometers.
You're writing here. Okay, 15 kilometers, 110.
Yes, sir.
And now in Vue.js, if you put static, it won't work. Over.
Yeah, it was not working when I tried. When you BlueJ means, when you're solving in BlueJ, don't put static anywhere. In the main function, don't put public static. Just put void main. Don't put that string args. Okay, let's read this question. Write a program to define book with the following specifications. Okay, so the class name is book. Instance variables are data members. So these are the variables that you're creating. You will use them as global variables. So book number, book title, and price are the 3 variables, global variables that we will create. Book number is to store the book number. Book title is a string data type to store the title of the book. And price is a float data type to store the price per copy. Okay, that's the cost of one book. Okay. Now member methods or the functions that we have, there are 3 functions. The first one is the total cost, That is to calculate the total cost for n number of copies. Okay. So what we have is we have price. Price is the cost of one book. Right. Right. If you multiply that with n, what we'll get is the total cost of all the books. You understand? That's one formula you have in this. Right. That's the only formula that you have. Price of one book into number of books will give you the total cost of the books. So this calculation, you're doing it inside the total cost member method. All right, everyone? Okay, then your next function is input, which should have been the first function. That is to read these three values from the user: the book number, the book title, and the price. Okay. All right. And then purchase. Here you're taking n from the user. See, purchase is to ask, sorry, there's a K over there. To ask the user to input the number of copies to be purchased. So that means you're asking the user for the number of copies. He will enter that. We will store that in n. Okay. And after you get that, then you have to call this first function, total cost, which calculates the total cost by multiplying the price into n. And then it prints the total cost to be paid by the user. Okay. Once again, the first function that you will be calling is the input function. Okay. The input function will take these three values from the user. Then you will call the purchase function. The purchase function will take n from the user, that is the number of copies to be purchased. And this function, purchase function, will call the total cost function to find the total cost. Okay. And then it will print the total cost. And then you have the main method. Okay. So main method is calling which all functions? First, the main method will call which function?
Input.
Okay, we'll call the input. And then the main function will call next. It will call the
Purchase.
purchase. Okay. So the main function does not call the total cost. The total call is called by whom? Who's calling this total cost function? It is a purchase. You see, while the purchase is like doing all the work, it is taking the number of copies n from the user, and then it is calling the total cost. Invokes means calling. So it's calling the total cost to find the cost, and it is also printing. So this purchase function is doing some input, is doing the processing also, it's doing the output also. You see that, everyone? Okay, it's a little unusual program. Okay, but yeah, you can do any program what is based on functions. Okay. All right. So once again, I'll just explain. How do you start your program? After your class, after the class, you'll create the global variables. That is int book number string. If they're using capital letters in the question, you also have to use capital letters in your program. Okay. Book title and float. Float is price. Okay. So these are the three global variables you're creating. After that, you will create the three member methods. That is the total cost, inside total cost, you will do the calculation to find the total cost. So use a variable over there. Okay. The formula is price into n. Right. We'll store that in a variable. And see, this variable is not global. The place where you're storing the total cost. Okay. So if it's not a global variable, say if it is a local variable, like say it is float or double, say it's double total. Okay. So that means you have to put double here in the front also. Remember, whatever you're returning, and then we will return that total. Remember everyone, how do we return values? And when something is not global, and if it's a local variable, we need to return it. Okay. So your total cost will have double in front of it instead of void. Okay. We find the total cost and then we return total cost. Whoever is calling the function should, the value of the total cost should be returned back to that same place from where it was called. Right? Okay. So this is your total cost method. Then you have the input. Input, you're just taking three values from the user, that is a book number, book title, and the price. Now here, this is not returning anything because they are all global variables. So you need to put void. Understand? If nothing is being returned, you'll put void. If something is being returned, then you have to put the data type of what is being returned. Okay, and finally the third function, which is the most important function. That is your purchase.
Yes.
Now purchase is not returning anything, so we can put void purchase. Okay, capital purchase. And purchase is doing some input. It is taking n from the user. N is input. Then it is calling the other function. Which function? Total cost. Right, it is calling the total cost. Now, when it is calling total cost, it is also sending the n. Say, look, listen very carefully. The void purchase is taking n from the user as input. What is n?
Number of
Number of books. So what
yes.
when you're calling total cost, this purchase function has to send the number of books also. It has to send n. So you have to put n over here like this in bracket. So it sends n to the total cost. So that means the total cost over here should receive that n. Okay. So here you will receive that n. How you'll receive that n is in this bracket you have to put int n. Okay. So it will take that n and then calculate the calculate the total and return the total back over here. So we will store that in a variable, say total, double total. And then we have to print it. Okay. See what is happening over here. We will type this properly and neatly, then you'll understand it better. I'll just put in boxes here. Okay. So this is your double function. This is the input and this is the purchase. Okay. What is the purchase function doing? It is first taking n from the user. Then it is calling the total cost method. While calling it, it is sending n. Okay. N will go over there. N is used to find the total cost. And then the total cost is returned back to the same place where the function was called. So the total cost is stored in a variable. We can use the same variable, TOT. Okay, so now the total cost is stored in that TOT. Okay. And then the next step is to print the total cost to be paid by the user. Yeah, that means we have to print TOT. Okay, that is the purchase function. Now we have to actually print everything. See, print what all we have to print. We have only taken input of book number, book title. We have not printed them, right?
Yes.
So when we're printing, no, print everything. Okay, now it's not written anywhere in the question that we have to print it. Okay, but it has to be understood that if you're taking these values as input, you have to print them. Okay, so where should we print them? We can either print them in, huh?
Display.
There is no display function, no? So they have not asked us to create a display function. If it was there, then yeah, we could have. Is it there in the question? Display.
No.
Yes. So we can either print it in the purchase or we can print it in the main method. Okay. So I think what we'll do is, um, hmm?
In main method we can print.
Okay. So main method, normally we only call the functions. Okay. But here, since they have not mentioned a display function, we can print it anywhere. I think we'll do one. I'll make a modification of the question because that's how normally questions will have. Create a display function also. Okay, you can write that after the main method. After writing that, after you wrote that, you just add this function also, display. In that you write to print everything. Okay, just add that. All right, so we have a display function that will print everything, 5 things. That is a book number, the book title, the price of one book, the number of books, and the total cost. Okay, everyone? Did you understand the question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Anna.
Now, in the main method, there's one more thing that's asked. That is, write a main method to create an object of the class and call the above member methods. Okay, so we have called the member methods. What we have not done is we have not created an object. So how do we create an object now? So to create an object, before you call these functions, watch very carefully. We're going to create an object and then use that object to call the functions. Okay, now how do we create an object? We have created objects. We have created an object called SC. Every time we take input from the user, we create this object called SC. In the same way, we're going to create another object. Okay. So to create an object, first you need to write the class name. So what's the class name here? In the question, it tells us to use the class name book. You see, that's your class name. Okay. So we write the class name. Then we write the object name, any name that we want. So normally we put OB. Okay. Then equal to new, and then the class name book and a bracket. Okay, this is how we create the object. Now we use that object to call the functions, which means we just have to put OB in front of the function like this. OB.input and OB.purchase.
Sir, why OB?
OB is the name of the object that we created. We can create any name. We can use any name. Okay, it's just like, huh?
In the place of OB, we can write anything.
Yes, it's a name that you create. So anything you can put over there. Okay. Like when we create object for scanner class, how do we write? We put no scanner. That's the name of the
Yes.
class. And then we put SC. SC is the name of the object. And then we put here new. And then again we put the name of the class. That is scanner. Correct. See the same pattern we're doing here also. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So here, see, remember there are 5 variables. Okay. From these 5 variables, which of the variables are global?
Purchase.
Purchase is
And-
not a variable. Purchase is a function method. See what? Yeah, what I've highlighted here, the first 3, they are global. Okay, only the first 3: book number, book title, and price. They are global variables. See, we have declared them in the beginning over here. You saw that? Book number, book title, and price. Only they are global. Every other variable, that is the other 2 variables. That is, what are the other 2 variables? Oh, what happened here? Here. N. N is local. That's why we had to send it, you know. See, purchase was sending N, and here the total cost was receiving that N, storing in another variable, capital N. Okay, so it was sent and returned. Even the total was returned back. Okay, so they are not global, they are local. Local variables have to be sent and catched and returned. Okay.
Sir, the total cost is a function, no?
So no, oh, yeah, that is this total cost. Yeah.
So after the class that declaring the variables, we have to put that bracket, no? After float price.
No, price is not a price is a variable. No, price is not a member. I mean, it's not a method. Price, these 3 are the variables. Book number, book title, and price are variables. This total underscore cost, input, purchase, and display are the functions. And the other 2 variables, one is N, capital N, and one is total cost. Total cost, we use the variable TOT.
Now, what is N store?
What is?
N store.
N stores the number of books, the total number of books the user is buying, number of copies. See here.
It's book number.
Huh? Your voice is breaking. Just check your audio setting now. I think your noise cancellation is set to high. So it is cutting out your voice also. Okay. Just go to your audio settings and just check that.
Sir, at the scan after the scanner class, we can write like that system.out.println, enter the book details and line by line.
Yeah, one is better. It will be a better user experience. Enter book number, then take the book number. Then enter book title, take the book title. Then enter the price, then take the price. So the user will get each one by one, no?
Yes.
Now the price is supposed to be
Sir, the price is in float, no?
Yeah, float actually. I just took double. You can put float also. If you put float, then you'll have to put F at the end of the number. So I just took as double. You can put float. Glory, you said something. I didn't hear a word. Your voice didn't come through.
that price only.
I
It's
can't hear
double
you. Yeah, you can use double, but I mean, the question they said float. Mostly they'll ask double only. But if they say float, then you take it as float. Okay. 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 Yeah, I took float, right? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I wrote float here. So I have to take it as float, no? Price. Okay.
the F will come capital.
Yes. Wait, we should not print. Where do we print the total price according to the question? Oh, wait. Total cost to be paid by the user. Oh, I mentioned to print the total cost in both the places, right? In purchase also and in display. Okay, so do one thing. Let's print it in display only everything. Okay, just cut this part off. What I've highlighted here from purchase, you cut that off. Just find the total cost. The printing we will print in display. Wait, but there might be a problem. See, where are we storing the total cost? Which variable are we storing the total cost?
TOT.
TOT, and TOT is a local variable, right? So what do we do? Let's print the total cost here itself because it's a local variable. Okay. So
Yes.
we'll first call we'll call display. So it prints these three things, that is book number, book title, price, and N. Remove the total cost from here. Sorry if you cut this part and the total cost. Okay. So first we'll call the display function to print these four things, and then we'll print total cost in the purchase function. Wait. How will that work? Let's just confirm that. So the purchase function only, you'll have to call display from here. See, there's a display over here, right? Void display. That display function has to be called first, and then you should print the total. Leah, where were you? Okay, yes, there's a lot of up and downs in this question. Your purchase function is like the most important function over here. Just let's see what all it is doing. Okay, so first it is taking number of copies from the user, storing it in small n. Hmm. Then it is calling the total cost function and sending that n. So n goes to the total cost. Where is that? Here. Gets stored in capital N. And then we use that n to find the total price in TOT. And we're returning that TOT back to this point here. And that gets stored in TOT itself, another TOT though. Okay. After that, we are calling the display function to display the first three things: book number, book title, and the price of one book. After that, we will display the number of books and the total cost in this purchase function itself. This is the whole, all the three functions. And then after this, we are creating the void main just to call two functions, the input function and the purchase function. Don't put the void main here. This void main is not here in the beginning. Okay. This void main is the one that we're going to do it now. Okay. By mistake, it was still here itself. Okay. So this is not here. It directly starts with this. Let's see if the program is first getting executed. Okay. I think I'll have to remove static from here.
Another input and purchase, you took it as full capital.
Oh, capital. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Static problem only. Public static. I might have to put static for everything. Oh, wait. Let's see if it works. Enter book number 1256. Enter book title and enter book price is asking together. Okay, let's see. Number of copies. E. All right. Everything except the book title came. Okay. So book number got printed. Book title, there's some problem. We'll check that. Price of one book 5,000. Number of books 3. Total cost is 15,000. Okay. Price. Let's see what happened to that. I mean, book title. So book title. Book title is a string. Okay, we have not done string programs, right? So string is, what is a string? Is any word, any sentence, right? Now, when we're taking string from the user, I think we have to import something. Okay, let me just check that. To take strings, we need to import something. I think it's java.lang. Let's see. Yeah, java.lang. Import java.lang.start. Still not coming.
They are asking together the book title and price.
No, but I've asked separately. See book title, then I'm taking it from the user. And then I'm asking the price. Here it only was taking the price.
For sc.next lang.
Next line. No, it's line only. Okay, for any string, you have to put next line.
Anna, try and make S small, not caps.
For string,
Yes, Anna.
it's supposed to be capital only. Okay, so string is not a data type. It's not like the double and the float and everything. Okay, string acts like a data type, but it is actually a class. Okay, and the string class belongs to the lang package. So you have to import lang and then write string in as capital S. That is just how it is. Maybe I have to put some value for it. Let me just see. Let's see this word. It's just avoiding it. Book title. Anyway, the rest of the program is correct. Everything is working. Did you all finish writing it?
Yes.
You want to see any specific part if you missed out writing? If you haven't, just take a screenshot. This is from line 1 to 24.
Sir, how do we know that the in total cost, double total cost? From
We have a string, we have a function no, which calculates the total cost. This
Yes.
total cost. So here we're doing the
Yeah. So how we know it is returning it, the TOT?
So it's returned. So wherever we are calling it from, it gets returned right there itself. So we are calling it over here. So it gets returned right there itself. So we are sending n from here, and the answer also comes back right over there. and they get stored in this TOT. Wherever it is being called, right there it gets returned.
Sir, here in total cost, yeah, double dot is equal to total cost. You have written small n and then capital.
Yeah, so small n is a local variable for this function, and capital N is a local variable for that different function.
Yes, sir.
Even this TOT, I don't have to put same TOT. I can put a different variable here because that TOT is for that that is a local variable for that function, and this TOT is a local variable for the purchase function. So they both are different. I'm just using the same variables, but it's not the same actually. There's something wrong with the string. The color also is different. I don't think it's supposed to be that color.
Or in this compiler.
I don't know. Anyway, there's only a problem with taking string and printing it. This is a program. Yeah. So this program is a little complicated because, from one function you're calling another function, from that you're calling another function. So there was a lot of calling and returning, and it was a mix of local variables and global variables. Okay. If you're able to understand this program, how it works, then you'll be able to do any function program. Okay. I hope you all got it. Okay. Just once again, I'll explain this. Okay. Those of you who didn't get it, please listen. So the first function that is called is your main function. Okay. In the main function, we're creating an object called OB. OB is the object for the class book. Book is this class. For that, we're creating the object called OB. Now we're using that OB function to call two functions, that is input function and purchase function. So first the input function is called. So that means the cursor goes here. Right? And all these things happen here. That is, you're taking the book number, storing it in book underscore number. You're taking book title, storing it in book title, and you're taking the price and storing it in price. So these three variables are global variables. They are created right over here. Yeah. Okay. So these three inputs are done. Next, the main function will call the purchase function, purchase method. Now, when purchase method is called, you're again creating another scanner class, just like how we created for this input. Because this scanner class was local to only that function, and this scanner class is local to this function, purchase function. Okay, so we're creating the scanner class, asking the user to enter the number of copies. We're storing that in small n. Then we're calling the total cost function to find the total cost of n number of books. So we are sending the n number of books. That value goes here and gets stored in capital N. And we're using that capital N to multiply it with the global variable called price. Okay, price of one book into number of books will give you the total cost of all the books. And that total cost TOT is returned back. Now TOT is of double data type. That's why we're putting double here in front of the method name. Okay, so TOT is sent back. Where does it go back to? It goes back to this point here where the function was called. And so that TOT from that function gets stored in this TOT from the purchase function. Okay. All right. So we have found the total cost. Now we're displaying. What all we're displaying? We're calling the display function to display these three things. That is a book number, the book title, and the price of one book. These three gets displayed. Then we're printing two more statements. That is the number of books and the total cost. That's the end of the program. Clear, everyone, how functions work?
Yes, sir.
Anything anyone wants to ask? Gloria, I still can't hear you. Did you change your audio setting to low noise reduction? Still, I can't hear. Okay. Maybe your mic. Change your input device. You're using a laptop, no? Go to audio. Next to audio, there is that arrow down and see which microphone is selected. Select another microphone and see if it works. Can you see different microphones? Under audio, can you see different microphones? That mute.
Can you?
Yes, now I can hear with all the noise. Okay. Say. Yeah, it's good. It's good. At least I can hear you. Yeah, what were you asking?
What is the difference between function and method?
They're actually the same thing. I think methods are what we create. I have to just confirm that. But any function that we create, they call it as method. Okay. And functions that are already created, like println, and they are called as functions, I think. But we can interchange the name and use it either way. Okay. We call this function programming, but when the program, we call them as methods. But they're the same thing. Okay. But yeah, we need to check that. Okay. Just go on Google and search it. Even I'll check it out. Okay. What is the difference between function and method? But in this case, we're using them as the same thing. Okay. Any other question?
So I have only the web book title. It will work on BlueJ.
What?
That string problem, it will work on BlueJ.
It's supposed to work. I don't know why it's not working over here. Just import lang. See, here they've given the answer. A function is a set of instructions or procedures to perform a specific task. That's what we did. And a method is a set of instructions that are associated with an object. So maybe when you create an object and call that function, then we call it a method. Looks like that's what it is. A method is a block of code which only runs when it is called. Okay. A method, like a function, is a set of instructions that perform a task. The difference is that a method is associated with an object while a function is not. Okay, so that's the difference. Okay, if you use an object, then the function is called a method. Got it?
We have used object,
The
so
main method.
and purchase method is called as object.
Wait.
Method.
Ahmed, what did he say?
We have used object OB input and OB purchase. So only that purchase function and input method will be as that method.
Yeah, so input and purchase will be called as methods, and the remaining will be called as functions. Nathan, you're saying something?
No.
Nathan, you put your mic on the noise cancellation, you put it on medium. Okay, otherwise there is too much of background noise. But medium or high, put it on high actually. I leave it on high.
No, I put it on auto right now.
You put it on auto. Auto will be automatically, it goes to high.
Yes.
Okay. In the next class, we can start with function overloading now. Since you're clear with function, we can start with function overloading. Okay. Please do one homework from your book. I'll give you another easier question, not like this one. Huh?
Eighth one.
Eighth one. 1 minute. Let me check. Eighth one is calculate check-in, check-out, room number, tariff, hotel, customer name. Wait, no, don't do this. Do the 7th question. That is more like a question that will come for an exam. Okay, question number 7 in your book, that is define a class flight. Okay, this is page number 101. Define a class flight with the following description: flight number, destination, distance, and fuel. Yeah. So you're calculating the fuel based on the distance. This is similar to the taxi, no? Calculating the tariff of the taxi, how many kilometers you're driving, what is the cost. So same like that, okay? Based on the distance, you're calculating how much fuel is needed.
Yes, sir.
So you have 3 member methods or functions. One is to calculate the fuel, one is to feed info, that is the input, and one is a show info, that is to output. So yeah, very simple type of program. One function for input, one function for the processing, and one function for the output. Okay, so seventh question is a very good question that you can do quite easy. Do that one as your homework. And page 100. In page 100, the fourth question is bill, electricity bill. Have you done that already? Yeah, electricity
Yes.
bill was your homework for last class. If you have not done it, please do 44th question as your homework. Okay, that is the fourth question, similar to the fourth question in your book. Similar, not same values, but same type of question. And then fifth question is to calculate your salary. That is also a very important type of question. So try that question. So 4, 5, and 7. 4, 5, and 7 is your homework. 4 is question number 4. 44, I mean. Okay, that is 44th question. The 46th question, you do 7 in your book. Page 101, question 7. And for the 47th question, you'll do page 100, question 5. Okay, these are your homeworks. All right, we'll end with this. I hope you noted on your homework. Question 4, 5, and 7 is your homework. Okay, I'll send this on the group. Please do your homework. Okay? We'll end with this. I'll see you tomorrow. Hey, did I say any test or something for this week?